I call Simon O'Connor.
Well, I look a bit surprised, Mr Speaker, because we're expecting the Labor Party to actually take a call, or the Green Party perhaps, but it seems that they've become a little bit embarrassed about this. Because James Shaw was actually referred one thing correct and one not so correct earlier, which I think provides some context. The first was that he called this bill, that it was coming in, Mr Speaker, at unfortunate timing because of announcements last week by Phil Twyford and Andrew Little around foreign buyers, based supposedly on Bayesian mathematics, but really just based on Bayesian, is it? Well, you never know. It's shocking that they might have used a foreign name to explain what they were doing. But he says it was unfortunate. I don't think it was unfortunate. I think actually that this bill is being discussed tonight, and Labor's use of foreign names to try and set policy and to discriminate actually exposes the heart of what they truly think. And I think that will provide a challenge. That will provide a challenge to Mr Goff when he has to stand up in front of the people of Auckland, including those of my constituency, and explain why, based on words and letters alone and the way that they are structured, that discrimination can be had. The second thing, though, Mr Shaw talked about is that the other cultures are, well, that no more land is being created, and David Seymour correctly pointed out that, like Hawaiian volcanoes, but I also should note to the House, of course, we have the islands in the South China Sea, which are doubling each week as they are being built upon. So it always takes geography serious. It's why I'm very pleased to have a degree, or one of my majors, in geography, human geography, it must be said. Look, there's no surprise, Mr Speaker, that I did study Latin, Minister, but I didn't get a major in it. Greek, French, Maori and Fijian as well, but again, no majors. Mr Speaker, I oppose this bill. I think actually the first point, and I will re-highlight what the Leader of the ACT Party said, the title betrays one of the great faults. This is not our land. Okay? It's not our land, it is a person's land. It might be a natural person, it might be a family trust, but it's not our land. It's not as if somehow Phil Goff, the Labor Party, the Green Party, or anyone else has some right over it. At day's end, and I have said this to my own constituents at times who get a bit upset about foreigners buying land, it's that actually it's New Zealanders who make the free choice to sell it to someone else. No one has put a gun to their head and said you must sell to an overseas buyer. Mr Speaker, the land we're talking about in these farms, like the Crayfer Farms is a perfect example. The Crayfer Farms was private land. It's not government land, it was private land, and for a variety of reasons they chose to sell it. But again, it's a bit like the unfortunate nature of the comments around race. The Labor Party doesn't believe in private property rights. They believe that they know best, and they want to tell you how to run your life, your land, your showerhead pressures and everything else. It's a disgrace. They also forget, Mr Speaker, that we live in a global environment, and the honourable member who's proposed this bill understands this because he's been the champion, particularly through the Labor Party, of free trade agreements. The thing about free trade agreements is that you trade freely, you engage with your foreign neighbours freely. And so just as we will seek New Zealand to invest, we are open from our side to have people purchase here in New Zealand. And we heard very good examples from colleagues on this side of the House of people who are foreign buying businesses and land here. So we know about the Crayfer Farms, we know about Hire, who have become quite involved around Fisher and Paykel. I don't have the exact numbers here, but they're just a couple of examples where actually foreign purchases, foreign capital coming into New Zealand is helping not only those businesses, but New Zealand. And it makes sense. Again, we live in a global environment. Our strength comes from dealing with other people, trading capital. I don't want to get into economics, I leave that to others, but we do not want to return to a state of autarky, okay? Not autarky, but autarky, where we close our borders and we all wear the same uniforms, drive the same cars and go down to some Labor Party welfare office to collect our bottle of vodka and one potato a day. Mr Speaker, I oppose this bill.
I call Stuart Nash.